Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome to the podcast, the live stream edition. Thank you. The podcast is your home for rational crypto news and objectivity, leaving emotion at the door, talking about what we like, why we like it, where we see it going. We are not offering financial advice. We are telling you what we do, and that is all. We don't slow down. We don't let up. Full speed is our only speed. I'm your host, Scott, pragmatic investor who has won and lost fortunes. And joining me tonight or this afternoon, this morning, I don't even know what the hell time it is nobody. Bell had an appointment, so we're going to try to turn a two-man show into a one-man show, and I assure you, man, it's going to be a little bit rough. So I'm going to do my very best here. Here at the podcast, we have a tendency to talk about what others are not talking about and bringing the focus onto use case cryptos because, as we know, these are what drive the market and bring innovation to a world that desperately needs it. Status quo, no longer acceptable. It's time for a technological revolution. Welcome to crypto and welcome to the podcast. And again, thank you. So the CPI today. And it exceeded expectations by coming in at 5%, or it might have been 5.1. I didn't pull it up exactly, but it was either 5 or 5.1. It exceeded expectations, and the crowd went wild, and the Bitcoin went wild. We'll show you that one right here. That's the number that we're looking at. That was immediately following the announcement. And yes, the Bitcoin went up. It didn't go up spectacularly, but it's been kind of hovering in this range for a while now. Anyway, and all of this is people realizing profits. The funny thing around Bitcoin is, although it is the king, the granddaddy, $500 billion market cap, oh my goodness, going to $1 million per token. Just listen to Kathy Woods. Can't miss. But the way that the bulk of the investment world sees it, and I'm sorry, man, look, it's true, is it's a speculative asset. Now, it's true because it is, in fact, a speculative asset. There's a lot of things that we dream about Bitcoin doing, but it's not doing it yet. So until then, gains are gains. I don't love seeing that because it punches me in the wallet, but I absolutely respect it because it at least tells me that there are some very disciplined investors out here. I'm all about disciplined investors. So that it's nice to see it. I get it, man. Look, there's a lot that goes on, and Bitcoin does drive the narrative, drives the market, drives everything. But with the volume that it takes to move the Bitcoin needle, a 0.5% or 1% gain is a big gain. All right, that is a lot of physical cash in your pocket, and people are simply going to realize it. So although it's fun to swim in these waters, it is also very, very volatile, and you need to keep that in mind. Yeah. So anyway, the Dow didn't react the way that most people were expecting the Dow to react. It stayed more or less flat. Now, the same way that we were more or less baking in the fall off of the Dow by saying they're just baking in an interest rate increase, I'm just kind of got a feel that all the rise lately has kind of been around that we're expecting a good CPI, so it could have already been baked into it as well. There's still a lot of earning reports out. There's still a lot going around, and until all of that gets settled and washed out, it's going to kind of this is going to more or less remain our new normal. And you know what, for what it's worth, I'm fine with it. We've had at least enough stability that we've been able to make some moves. So people that have been wanting to get in, get out, have been able to get in and get out, realize some profits, and make a little money because this is what we invest for. And I did put a chat window that was supposed to be showing up right here, and that chat box does not seem to be working, and there's no way for me to test. It's supposed to be right here. You guys know we like interaction. I like to answer your questions. I like to address your comments and all that, but the only way for me to do it is to stop talking, stop the show, and go and look over at another monitor, and I refuse. I'm not going to do it. Let me see if I can swing this another way, maybe. If I could pull stuff out of the way 1 second, and then I could see it. Oh, maybe it's just fine because there is no chatting. That could be it as well. This is something new that we're trying. I want to go live at least once a day, every day, so that I can get in and interact with you guys. I want to talk. I want to give you my opinions, my viewpoints, all that other good stuff. Oh, look, there we go. Look, we got a chat message, and it did show up on the screen. So I guess I guess we're okay. Again, this is only necessary for me when I don't have the bell. If I have the bell, then she takes care of all this stuff. But I'm thrilled with the CPI. I'm thrilled with the 5%, but I still have to embrace the fact that there are a lot of additional elements that are going into a volatile economy, and you kind of ignore those at your own peril. So, a lot of emails recently. Injective. That seems to be the absolutely be the flavor of the month right now out in our world, and I'm happy to show it to you right there. That's Injective. Price is absolutely booming. Percentage is booming. If you look at that thing over 90 days, that is an absolute rock star. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess. I don't know. Unfortunately for me, I own some, but I don't own an awful lot of it. Clearly, if we'd all seen this coming, I would have been in a hell of a lot heavier. But it's been doing very, very nice gains. That's pretty much all that I own right there, and this is just on the baby wallet. So that's pretty much all that I have, and the big reason that I have it is of course right there. Now, unfortunately, on this pool, the rewards on this pool are paid out mostly in osmosis. So Osmo's got a lot of faith in this one. I don't have a lot of faith in the Osmo token anymore. Well, clearly I've kind of turned a corner. The inflation is it's just too high on this token, and there's a lot of exposure to me with this token by providing liquidity on this DEX. There's just a lot of exposure, man. Those 14-day lock-ins are brutal, absolutely brutal. And it was the decoupling when it's not the decoupling. It was when all my stable tokens lost their peg there about a month ago. That's when I realized just how vulnerable I was on this exchange and why I cannot really stay on this exchange. Not until I see the Osmo 2.0, not until I see what's going on over there, how they're going to more or less address it. So until they do, I have to be very, very particular in the pools that I'm in. And this happens to be one, mostly because I can liquidate the Osmo every single day. And that's important. If you're doing this as a pure farm, it's very, very important that you are diligent and that you liquidate your farm every single day. I don't need any more Osmo. I really don't want any more Osmo, but it's very easy to turn that Osmo into cash. So that is more or less what I do. Now, there's a few things over on Injective that I do like. It's a financial chain, man. All right. Everything over there is financials. I am heavy in financials, and I'm a little bit too heavy. Helix, I really like Helix. I like what they have going on over there. It is a very good order book. Now, unfortunately, the one pool that I use more than anything else, and this one is just because I want to use USDT to do the trading with it. And that's the pool right there is Atom USDT. Now, I like this one because I also farm Oridex pretty heavily. And whatever I liquidate on that DEX, I liquidate into USDT so that I can bring it over here and play around on this order book. Now, I can do this several different ways. I can do all of this, but I do try to diversify my money, and that means in between Cosmos, MetaMask, Ethereum, everything else. So I try to spread it all out. And I have never paid list price for Atom. I mean, not forever. As long as an order book is available that allows me to pick my price for Atom, I'm a very patient guy. And I think that's important when it comes to crypto. Not enough people really talk about it. But it's important to be a very, very patient person when it comes to crypto, particularly in your buys and sells. The few cents that you save here, these become exponential over time. So if I can get my Atom, such as over here, If I can get this at $10.80, which I believe we're going to hit 1080 again, sure we will. I mean, Bitcoin is going to continue to people are going to realize profits on this. They're going to say enough's enough. Something's going to hiccup. The feds will say something. Another bank will collapse. Anything could happen. And next thing you know, down it goes. So if I could be patient for a day or two, or 3, or wait for another black swan event, and I could pick up Atom at 1080, 1060, 1050. I'm more than happy to do it. Now, I don't want to have to be married to my computer to do something like that. That's why I'm such a big fan of order books. I always have been. And I also want to diversify all my stable tokens, USDC, Axelar, Gravity Bridge, USDT. I mean, I'm going to spread all of these things out so that one single wallop doesn't wipe me out. So my Arai that I liquidate into USDT ends up coming over to here so that I can take advantage of Helix, which is a very, very good order book, which is on Injective. Now, I cannot really explain this massive price. I'm not that kind of crypto person that could say that I could tell you specifically why that price is up 62% in 14 days. Aside from Tulip Frenzy, I really can't explain it. Now, I understand that there's some news, some coming soon, some of this other stuff, but you're talking about an L1 token here, and you're talking about a really big market cap on that token. So there's a lot that gets tied into this one. It's not enough for me to fully commit and say, no, it's going to keep going, because anything that goes up that fast is going to come down that fast. And by the way, this is specifically what you get on the little shows when there's no bell here. I'm going to talk about money. That's what I'm interested in. So that's everywhere that show is going to be going. I'm sorry if I'm losing a couple of you guys, but I'm an investor first and foremost, so I want to give you context on what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, and so forth. Now, a nice advantage of this, and a pretty neat advantage to just being an all-around yield farmer, which I am, is that my entry prices are not as critical as they are for people who are simply doing a day trade on it, meaning that they're in, meaning that they're out. They're always going to be better insulated than I am, because as a farmer, I'm going to be in these trades longer. So my entry price, it does matter, but if I'm buying all of these things with other people's money, then my entry price starts to become a little bit irrelevant. So I can comfortably still buy Injective at $6.81, which is monstrously high for this token. That's the max. Let's show it out of here. It's very, very high for this token, higher than it's been in a solid year. But if I can continue to enjoy some of the market sentiment, and particularly if I'm buying this with other people's money, then my entry price is irrelevant. I mean, so I have the benefit of the day trader. I have meaning that I kind of need to watch the entry point, but I'm not as concerned about percentages, 2%, 3%, 4%, anywhere in that range, and I'm going to be okay. I can do it because I'm buying this with other people's money, because I can harvest that Osmo right there that I can pick up on that little pool every single day. I can harvest that Osmo and then decide, do I want to stay in this pool? Do I want to turn that APR into an APY? Compound interest, guys. The most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. But when it comes to this, or doing anything like this on Osmo, you're kind of getting stuck now, because you are locked into a 14-day trade. Nobody wants to be locked in, have your money locked in for 14 days. If you're going to lock it in for 14 days, you might as well stake it. But it doesn't really fit everything with what I'm doing right now, so it makes it a little bit tougher. Now, I'm decently heavy over here in Crescent. Again, not on this one. I mean, you said this is the YouTube wallet, so I'm kind of, it's not as important to me. But I've also been enjoying harvesting the hell out of this DEX, and I'm going to continue to harvest the hell out of this DEX. Now, they have a problem. Crescent has a problem. And I know thou shalt speak no ill of any Cosmos token, but Crescent has a big problem, and that is Crescent is bleeding. I mean, it is bleeding, and it's bleeding ugly. So the liquid version of this, that is that one right there, Nobody wants to see this. All right. Nobody wants to see this, particularly in a market that's been trending upward. But that is not an investment that you want to be in. All right. That is double, double, double tough to see yourself after 14 days and 30 days being down 23%. I'm going to give a little back because I think I'm the only one who comes over here and looks at this. Nobody wants to see that, all right? That is a bad, bad number when you consider the trend of the market right now, and the market sentiment is actually kind of coming up. So 23% down is rough. And the reason that it's in such bad shape over here is specifically because of all of these APRs, but it's all of these APRs that are incentivized by Crescent on just bad tokens, on just bad pools. And they are giving that money away to build the TVL. That's a problem. All right, that is a big, big problem if you intend to stay in that token. Now, for me, not a big deal. All right, I liquidate it every single day, and I'm not in some of these crazy-ass pools over here because I don't want to have double exposure on a bleeding token. I just don't. And they're neat. They're fun. Everybody, I recommend everybody take a spin over here just so you can say that you're going to learn a very, very good lesson that even at 191%, if both of these tokens are bleeding, such as Iris, let's take a look at Iris. I like to add context. If you come over and take a look at a token that is bleeding, and that is paired with another token that is underperforming or bleeding as well, then what are you farming here? All right, it gets tough because even though this little number right here keeps going up, it's worth less every single day. The longer you're in the pool, the more money you're going to lose, period. It's difficult to outlast it. But what they do have that I admire about this DEX, two things. One, they have an order book. You guys know I'm an order book fan, big, big fan. But they also have a couple pools that are incredibly, incredibly enticing to me. One of those pools being right there, Atom USDC Gravity Bridge. Man, that for me personally, going to go big screen. I want to make sure I don't lose anybody here. For me, I think that is a tremendous pool for me. The APR is not monstrous, but that's fine. The closest I could get to this by pairing up that Atom with a token that has a relative amount of stability is over on Osmosis, and that's pairing it with Osmosis, which I don't want to do because I don't need any more Osmo. I simply don't. So I can come over and I can liquidate it every single day, but even Osmo is going to have some variance to it, and it does. We all see it. We all experience it, plus 5%, up 5%, down 5%, and it has a tendency to run with Atom, but the tipping point for me is that 14-day lock-in, babe. I just can't do it. I just cannot do that anymore. So I can take my Atom, I can pair it with USDC, and assuming that the world holds together, we know that tomorrow that USDC is going to be worth $1. So I can pair those two right there, get my 37%. Unfortunately, it's all paid out in Crescent, but it is not that damn hard to come right over here to the swap, liquid stake that Crescent, turn it into B-Cree, come right over here and turn it into anything that you want. I have a tendency to turn it into Atom. I'm still going to keep buying Atom, not because I love it, but because most people love it. So it's literally a sentiment purchase for me. But after that, I can decide what to do with it. Do I want to push it out? Do I want to trade it? Do I want to swap it? What do I want to do with it? But the neatest thing about that is simply that it is other people's money. It's not my money. And when you're using other people's money to make your trades, you can have some crazy trades because it doesn't really matter. It's other people's, but it also affects your entry price onto things such as Injective. So if you still want to try to ride that sentiment, that's great. Do it with other people's money. So if you happen to go down, if it happens to take a dive, and I believe it will, I mean, nothing goes up forever. It simply doesn't. This is crypto, guys. Even Bitcoin won't go up forever. It's going to bottom out too. But yeah, all of those things, they come crashing down. So your timing in that is going to matter a little bit as well, but particularly the thing that's going to matter most importantly is how much of your own personal capital that you're going to be putting up. I like using other people's money whenever possible, and there you go, and that's why we do it. So The other thing, I actually had a little bit of an outline here, guys. I'm sorry, this is weird doing it alone, man. This is really really rough. So I've come up with a personal goal for myself and for the podcast members. That's my whole thing has come up. I like to have a entry point and an exit point for shows, and my entry point or exit point on this show is just this. I'm making more money right now. I'm making a great deal of money right now providing storage for the Jackal network. You guys know I'm into Jackal. We're literally dedicating shows to it, storage providers, how to stand them up, what to do with them, all that other good stuff. And we're going to continue to do it because I think it's a tremendous opportunity. And you should be diversified in your holdings. And in my opinion, that includes providing infrastructure, that mining. If you have the capability, it's another good way to diversify all of your portfolio. And there you go. So we've been dedicating a lot of time to that and helping out the podcast folks who might be interested in doing that. Tomorrow night will be our code along. So if you joined us Thursday last week and yesterday, then you know you've now completed step 1 and step 2, and you are ready to and you're going to be ready to go for Thursday. So Thursday is going to be our code along, and that's going to be the whole show. All right, I'm not the one doing the show. I'm there to offer a color commentary, but Emery is going to be heading this one up. So if you're ready, did step 1, did step 2, then tomorrow you're ready for step 3. And come step 3, you're good to go. All right. The last thing that you're going to do is initialize that provider, and you are now providing storage for Jackal Network. Now, I pulled up a couple of just random wallets. If I could get my mouse over there, 1 second, guys. I pulled up just a couple of our providers. I have a lot of providers. I will be putting up a lot more because, again, I believe in the project. But this is what you're harvesting here. That's what you're going for. That's the number that you're looking for. And it's one of my favorite things to do is just to have that up and hit refresh. Now, I don't know where we are in the epoch or where I refresh this one. 13,333. And the epoch's on the hour, 13,475. So let's say 450 Jackal that was mined over the last hour. Now, your results are not going to be the same as my results. They simply won't. All right. I have a lot of servers. We have clusters. Emery has dedicated his time to tuning these things up and making them as good as they can be. We have very top-notch hardware. We pay a premium for everything so that we can do what we're doing over there. And it's necessary for me to do what we're doing over there because I don't want people harvesting tokens and dumping them on my head. I just don't. So it's important for me and the Podcast LLC to protect ourselves, and we protect ourselves by harvesting as many of these tokens as we can because we're going to be smart with them. Now, everything that I've been talking about up here and the exit goal that I'm looking for on this one is to get the people who are providing storage on Jackal to earn $500 per month. That's it. That's what I want to get for you, is to earn $500 per month with anything besides Jackal. So the reason that I point out Orion, the reason that I point out opportunities over on Injective, the reason that I point out a couple of very, very specific pools is because these are the pools that I believe that I'm in. And these are the ones that I think you have the best opportunity of actually securing that $500 a month. That $500 a month will go straight to OVH to pay for your tip-top quality hardware so that there is nothing coming out of your pocket. There's always going to be risk. Let's not get nuts, guys. All right. There's a tremendous amount of risk in crypto. And even though you earned $500 this month, doesn't mean you're going to earn $500 next month. But it will dig in and start getting your head right. What do I have to do here so that I can get into this side of the world, this side of the crypto world? $500 a month, it will pay for your server, and that is tip-top quality hardware. That's the CPUs you need, the RAM you need, and the storage that you need so that you can provide, so that you can get into the mining pools over here and start, earning. It's going to be rough at first, I'll tell you flat out. It is rough. It is tough. Developing the discipline necessary to get in the right pool, stay in them, but most importantly, to get out of them when it's no longer serving you. And it will take a tremendous amount of discipline for you to get a storage provider up, but it will take even more discipline for you not to liquidate those tokens. It is not the time to liquidate the Jackal tokens. It's baby network still. So it's tough because your very first instinct is going to say, get them and liquidate them. Just liquidate them. Get rid of these tokens. Look at all the money I made. I want to get rid of them. By doing that, you're cutting your own throat. You're cutting your own throat, and you're cutting the throat of everybody else who's doing that on that network, because what you're doing is increasing sell pressure on the token. It's Crypto 101, man. All right. And if there aren't people that are lined up to secure the price of this token, then it's going to bleed. Once it bleeds, more people are going to pile on. It starts to turn into some real bad news. And it's just unfortunate in this case because the network hasn't had enough time to develop, meaning getting more customers on, meaning fine-tuning the network, speeding it up, getting all of the things that we need on this network for the network to develop fully. And if everybody goes into pure sell mode on this token, it's going to be real tough to get people to hang around because, it starts to bottom it out. So our whole goal here about doing this is, one, we want to get the podcast folks involved in this. I think it's a tremendous opportunity. I'd like to get them involved with this with the least amount of personal cost to themselves month over month, because I believe that we have very, very disciplined investors over here who understand what's going on with this one and are not going to rush in and start shorting it. That's it. I could go all kinds of caveman here. I'm not going. I'm not going to, because we're coming to the end of time. Look, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, man. I'd like to answer your questions. I don't think we got too many comments, but this is what you get when I'm all by myself. I want to get everything that's in my head out of my head and try and do it in a half hour. The nighttime shows, guys, look, man, they're not going to change. They're going to be the same thing. We want engagement. We want everybody talking, and we want to answer as many questions of you guys as possible. But this is stage 2.5. This little half hour here was stage 2.5. I have to find a way to get you guys to earning $500 a month without using Jackal. So I have been out, I've been exploring wide, and it's pretty clear to me that I have to get back to the money element or the investing element of this show and show you specifically this is what I do to earn that $500. I have to earn a lot more because I have a lot of servers, but I'm pretty sure you guys understand where I'm going with that. So anyway, let me see. Is anybody watching? No, I'm dying. Oh my God, dude. I died on this one. That's rough. Let me see here. You know what? I'm not going to have time to answer them, guys. So I appreciate you joining me on this one. Questions or comments, Scott at ThePodocasts.com. As you know, I answer any and all. I'm going to try to continue to go live at 1100. That's the time for me, man. We'll talk it over with Bell, but I know I have 2 consistent meetings during the week that I have to do at noon. So unless we want to just kind of keep the time flopping all over the place, which I really don't, we'll probably be doing this at 11 o'clock. It's going to be a similar format. I'll just maybe do it with a producer. So anyway, guys, that's it. Questions, Scott at ThePodocasts.com. I answer any and all. And until next time, please stay safe, and please be smart with your money, guys. Cheers. We are dropping new videos and podcasts every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And be sure to look for us on Instagram, Twitter, and Parler at The Podocasts. Also, visit our page at ThePodocasts.com, all one word, for all of our most current content.